Hey Growler Nation, welcome back. I'm Ben with Growler Bikes, and today we're going to be discussing the difference between the different SRAM Eagle drivetrains that are available on our bikes. There are 5 different options from SRAM, starting with SX and going all the way up through XX1. We're going to go over some of the details. One of the most common questions that I get is, what do I get if I upgrade to the next group set? Is it worth it? And that's a very hard question to answer. It's a little bit different for everybody. So we're going to go through some of the details to help you decide what is the best way for you to spend your money and to get the best value. So over here, all the way on the left side here is SRAM SX Eagle. It's their entry-level 12-speed drivetrain. This one comes with the same amount of range as the other drivetrains. It's going to come with 11 through 50 on the rear cassette. You have an Eagle derailleur. It still has the same great lockout mechanism, so when you're working on your bike, it makes it a lot easier to get the wheel in and out. That's a really great feature that's available on all the different derailleurs. SX derailleur and the SX Crankset. One of the primary differences between this and the other groups is that it does come with a steel chainring versus an aluminum chainring. So it's a little bit heavier, but being that it's an entry-level price point, it's not uncommon. It still works really well, and it's still really good value for the money. Next in the SRAM lineup is SRAM NX Eagle. It also has 11 through 50 range on the cassette. It's a little bit nicer, so it's one step up in the food chain. The shifter is going to feel a little more precise. The derailleur is going to be a little bit lighter. The cranksets are a little bit lighter. It's really good value for the money. The SRAM NX Eagle cassette uses a traditional Shimano HG free hub body like this. So there's many pieces in the cassette. As you can see, it all comes apart in pieces, and it slides on here and uses a lock ring to attach to the free hub body. SRAM GX is right in the middle of the lineup. It is a really good value for the money. It performs notably better than the other lower end group sets, but it's, a modest increase in price. It actually has a reputation for shifting just as well as some of the higher end components, but without the hefty price tag, because the higher end groups have like carbon cranks and a really lightweight cassette and that kind of thing. So it's really good performance without the added price tag. The GX cassette is a one-piece cassette. It uses a SRAM XD driver. It's all one piece, it's very lightweight. So when you get to the GX level, the shifter feels a little more crisp for sure. It's very precise, it has a little bit less of a plasticky feel to it, and it's really solid mid-level components. I think it's really good value for the money. The GX derailleur, this is the new GX derailleur, which has the capacity, I should say, to use a 52-tooth cassette. One of the interesting things that differentiates the GX from the NX is the 10-tooth cog. So instead of 11 to 50, it has 10 to 50. And the new derailleurs that we have are capable of using the bigger range cassette, which is 10 to 52, 520% range. It's a huge amount of range, actually the most in the industry. Okay, as we move up one more level, things get a little bit nicer, a little bit lighter, a little more precise, a little more forgiving when you shift under load. The X01 is the next step up. It's a carbon crankset, comes with lightweight aluminum chainring. The derailleur is a really nice lightweight derailleur. It actually uses a partial carbon cage here. The cassette is where you're going to see the biggest weight savings probably in the X01 lineup. Obviously the carbon cranks as well. Uses the XD free hub body just like the GX. Very common group set for anyone who's interested in racing or just saving as much weight as possible. So last up in the SRAM Eagle drivetrain lineup is the XX1, which I don't have here in the shop today, but I've given you a nice drawing to look at. I'm actually, believe it or not, a very good artist, but I don't like showing off, so I made a very modest sketch of an XX1 derailleur, and this is approximately what it looks like. It is the top of the line group, super lightweight, carbon everywhere, lots of bling. It's available in gold if you want a little bling to your bike. So if you're looking for the ultimate weight savings or the top of the line, the best of the best, XX1 is what you want. You can reach out to us anytime. If you don't see that option on the website, we're getting to it. But we do custom builds all the time. Feel free to reach out and we can probably help you out. Okay, so now we're gonna do a real quick side-by-side comparison of SX, NX, GX, and X01. Specifically, we're gonna be talking about the cranks and the cassettes. So the first one up here, we're gonna start at the bottom and work our way up. SX is the entry-level crank, and it has a steel chainring and a fairly basic shape to it. Being that it's the entry-level crank, there's just visibly the most amount of material here. It's the heaviest version of these cranks. As we move up one level to the NX crank, it has obviously a little bit more of a cutout on the back of the crank arm. You can feel it's a little bit lighter weight, and it also has an aluminum chainring. So there's definitely some weight savings to be had here. Going up one more level to the GX crank, again, you're gonna see more of a cutout, slightly different shape here. It obviously comes from a different mold, but it's gonna be even lighter weight and also uses an aluminum chainring. And the last one that I have for you here today is the X01 crank arm. This is a carbon crank arm. It comes with a little protective rubber boot on the end there for rock strikes and whatnot. Just a good, stiff, excellent quality crank set to have. One cool feature about the SRAM cranks is they all use the same 3-bolt pattern for attaching chain rings. They're all intercompatible, so you can use a less expensive steel chainring on your fancy crank arm, or vice versa, you can put a lightweight aluminum chainring on your less expensive crank arm. They use the same standard across all their different product lines. Next, we're going to do a quick overview of the difference in the cassettes. We're going to start with the NX cassette. It comes in multiple pieces. It's the most basic of the SRAM products that we offer at Growler, so it has visibly the most material. It's basic, it works great, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just a little bit heavier than the other options. So the next step up is the GX cassette. This one uses the XD free hub body. It's a one-piece cassette. You can see the cutouts are much more significant on this one. It's lighter weight. It's actually pretty convenient being a one piece. It's great middle of the road, like solid mid-level components, but it uses the standard of the higher end products. The biggest benefit from going from an NX to a GX is primarily going to be weight savings. There's definitely some misconceptions and confusion out there about durability, or is you know, if I buy the nicer group set, is it going to live longer? And that's not necessarily the case until you get up into the X01 and XX1 drivetrains, where the chains are more durable and it uses a hardened steel, which will give you more longevity from each of the components in your drivetrain. And the last one we're going to look at today is the X01 cassette. Clearly, there is way less material here. They've done a lot more machining on it. It's a one-piece cassette. It uses a hardened steel, and then the outer ring here is aluminum, so more weight savings as well. So one of the biggest differences here is just going to be the 50-tooth chainring. On the X01, it's aluminum. On the GX, it is steel. So more weight savings again on the X01. Be great for a race bike or something like that. If you just want to save a ton of weight, that'd be the way to go. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our video and the overview of the SRAM Eagle drivetrain lineup. If you like our video today, please give us a like. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. And also don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on cool future videos. Thanks again for joining us. I'm Ben from Growler. We'll see you next time.